vicinity of where my little hand is on the map. Whilst we have some large unburnt areas marked on the map, there are also a number of smaller pockets of unburnt areas that we have not mapped on the overall fire map because there's too many of them and they're too small to do so. In terms of the rapid impact assessment teams, these are the experts that are looking at the roads and looking at the local infrastructure and making an assessment on whether we can open up the roads or not. We have 5 teams on the fire ground, and that's all they're doing. All they're doing is driving the roads and making that critical safety assessment for when we can possibly let you in. Our aim is to do that as soon as possible. Those crews are looking for things like dangerous trees that will fall or may fall on the fire ground, and they're plotting them and marking them. They're passing that onto one of 16 task forces, primarily from DEPI and the council, who are following up behind the rapid impact assessment teams and are clearing those dangerous trees from the roadways. They're also, in some cases, clearing the roadways themselves and clearing fallen timber on the road to make it safe for people to go back. 16 crews doesn't sound much, but each of those crews has chainsaw operators, grader drivers, bulldozer operators, and may have an excavator in there as well. There are often 10 to 14 people in each of those teams, and there are significant resources drawn from throughout the state to open up those roads as soon as we possibly can. In terms of power, there are approximately 600 houses within the fire ground that do not have power. Power companies now have access to the southern half of the fire ground and do have access to some parts in the northern half, however that is restricted. Where they can get access, they are repairing the power lines as quickly as they can. And last night they restored power to 176 homes. Having said that, they cannot put a date to when they're going to have power back to all of the homes, and I am advised that they may take up to 7 days to restore power completely. Rebecca McKenzie is going to talk more about roads and access and how you can get that in a minute. But I just wanted to preempt her comments in saying that we have a road classification system of A, B, C and D roads. A being for access to emergency services only, B being to access to emergency services and utilities such as power companies and council, and C being access to local residents. It is our intent to open up as many roads as we can to Class C roads so that local residents can establish their bona fides at places like here, gain the appropriate access wristband and get back to their homes as soon as possible. In terms of the weather tomorrow, we're expecting a cloudy day and we're expecting high humidity. That is going to aid us in our efforts to bring this fire under control and to declare the fire contained and then down the track declare it out, which we're all looking forward to, I can guarantee you. We're expecting northeast to southeast winds from 15 to 20 kilometres an hour during the day and less during the night, with overnight temperatures falling to about 18 degrees. The conditions will then be gradually easing over the weekend. The CFO requests that you continue situation. We are making our best efforts to keep you as informed as we possibly can, and I understand that there are a number of issues with that. I'll address that briefly in a minute. When you gain your registration and go back to your homes with the wristbands, I want to stress that although you have had experts assess the situation, there are no guarantees. You should exercise extreme caution for the various hazards, including smoke, falling trees, power lines and roaming livestock. And there are a number of livestock on the roads where the fences have burnt down. There will also be emergency vehicles travelling around, and the road conditions are likely to have changed since you last drove on them. The assessment of those roads is ongoing, and that is an extremely high priority for us to get you back, as I've previously spoken to you about. In terms of some of the issues faced with providing information, I have been made aware that there was some expectation that we may have had a community meeting here yesterday. From a CFA point of view, obviously, no one turned up. The reason that no one turned up is twofold. First of all, that the meeting was not organised or endorsed by the Incident Control Centre and by the people running the fire. In fact, the only reason they found out about it was through social media and through Facebook. We do apologise for those of you that went with the expectation of getting information updates on the fire, and we do sincerely regret that occurred. However, we scheduled a meeting today in order to rectify that and in order to give you what information we can. At the same time yesterday, this area was still under an emergency warning. There was a chance, and we were expecting the possibility